Cayman Islands.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Cayman Islands foremost listeners participation program.
Talk Today.
What is on your mind, Cayman? If you are ready to talk, we are ready to listen. Here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. And all is good in the studio. If you're watching us online, you'll see, as the gentleman would always share, the wonderful company of Miss Lucille. So it's going to be an awesome day. The Honorable Minister is with us. I believe we are. Are we live, DJ Lynn? He's like the roll boy. He walking the talk. Well, it was 20 years, and he used to be great in the ring. He still is. So he got Mr. Dale Ramon, an awesome opportunity as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. So stay tuned for Talk Today.
Talk Today is reminding you.
Avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Email Talk Today at candw.ky. Let your voice be heard. And now, back to Sterling Dwayne Ebanks, Radio Cayman Talk Today.
Hey, welcome and thank you very much for joining us as we invite you to be a part of a discussion. It's always a pleasure to not only be able to, reflect and reminisce, but also to be in a position where you are both respected and, more important, respectful. So, truly honorable Tourism Minister, Honorable Minister Brian. Welcome, sir. How are you today?
Sterling, thank you so much. I am blessed. The good Lord has continued to give me the opportunities to represent my people, which is the most happiest thing in the world. So I'm glad to be here today, and any opportunity to sit and speak with them is always also a pleasure. So I'm happy, and I'm glad to be in a room with people that I look up to and respect tremendously to talk about something very important. So thank you for
You're most welcome, sir. And as we welcome, a lady that I think we all look at and will be challenged to be reminded of her age when we look at her enthusiasm and her, disabilities. So, Ms. Lucille Seymour, how are you, ma'am?
Great. I'm sure you know my birthday is on Monday.
And if we didn't know,
and
now we know.
and I reach 80. What did the Bible say? You're given 77, but by something, you will get an additional 10. Is it? Something like that. Right. So I've completed his statement. At least Monday.
too much is given, much is required, and as I look at what today's date is, and without any effort, reminded of what was transpiring 20 years ago. I recognize that one of the ministries are talking about, flourishing, and I asked the question with the greatest of respect. In the 20 years hence, are we flourishing or floundering? And it's probably a mix of both. It's a matter of perspective. And as we, have the Honorable Mr. Brian in the studio and the opening of the Central, Community Park, I think it's a way to look at the flourishing. It's look at a way of cementing and connecting within our community. And as we sort of come back to the Honorable Minister, if I might respectfully, welcome another young stalwart, Mr. David Moore. How are you, sir?
Thank you, sir. I'm fine. I'm great, Feel like when I was 16 years ago, silk and shuffle, that kind of way.
Stick and move,
stick and move,
And I think, when Minister Brian was on the last time, and for our listeners, if you getting the feedback too, huh?
Yeah, I get a little bit of it.
I'm trying to figure out what that is, but we'll figure it out.
Is that mic open?
It was interesting that for those who were able to join Mr. Art this morning, through the various, sort of discussions that unfolded, we're seeing a community that understood what is because of what was. But I wonder if we're reminded of what could be if we have that diligence, that perseverance. And Honorable Minister, you had shared that this vision being real.
What could be in a positive way, right?
I like it to be, I think, Miss Lucy, what you do is we'll do the break. Take your headset off, flip it around so it'll be more comfortable. No, not turn it around, turn it inside out, outside in. All right, we'll get it for you, Mom. And you don't need it just yet. You look just as good with it as you do without, so it's all good.
Better on the older phone.
Yeah, I know, and I look even better when you squint. But Honorable Minister.
Mr. Sterling, thank you again so much, and again thank you to Mr. Ramon and Miss Seymour, the Honorable Miss Lucille Seymour, for being here with me today. Today we're here to talk about a journey that's finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's like you're in a tunnel, and you see the blinking of a light that you've been walking down this tunnel for a very, very long time, wondering when you're going to get to the end. And then you start to see the sparkle, and you go, okay, we're almost there, because once you see one bit, the more you walk, the brighter the light gets until you're out into the open. And that's what we're here to talk about today. And it's particularly the groundbreaking for the Central Scranton Park. And I have to unfortunately correct you. You forgot the Scranton Park, which is very important.
No, thank you. After I said I go, but there's a reason why that's important, right?
Yes.
So emphasize that, and thank you for that.
And I'm happy to ask either President Ramon or Ms. Lucille, who's a committee member of the Central Scranton Community Committee, to opine on the reasoning behind Central and Scranton, and obviously the community park component of it.
Yeah.
But tomorrow is the groundbreaking, which we're having at 5 o'clock.
Is it 5:30 or 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock. 5 o'clock.
Okay. Again,
if you say 5:30, then I'm going to show up till 6. So we said 5 o'clock.
No, not in my books, but I hear you. But
so it's 5 o'clock, 5 tomorrow. And we're inviting everyone in the Cayman Islands to come. Food will be provided, and tomorrow is all about the unveiling of the 3D rendering and the proposed plans and the pictures and the locations and the contractors who have been awarded and selected to build the park. I am so happy to be at this point. But I think outside of inviting everybody in the sound of our voice today, I think it's important that I allow both my seniors here to opine on how do we get here, where did this come from? Because I see this again kind of like a relay race. I'm only one of the components who's helping to complete something, but this started way before Kenneth even thought about politics. There's so much sweat and tears and hard work and commitment and sacrifices that has been done by so many people, some people that are not even here today, to get us to this point. So I'll ask Mr. Dale Ramon to chime in on that area first before we do that.
Yeah. Mr. Lindo, we need to do that scheduled break. Yeah. Yes? All right. Mr. Ramon, with great respect to you, sir, can we just take the break? And this gives our people a chance. You want to understand where we are and why. And for me, this is a good way in the acknowledgement of what has transpired 20 years ago and why we're looking at it. This, to me, is a good way to embrace this idea of we're progressing, we're flourishing, we're connecting, we're building, strength through our community. And I think, as Minister Brian said, this wasn't just something that was started yesterday, but it shows the commitment through a consistent, concerted effort, what can be achieved. So when we come back, we speak to the community through you. All right, please join us after the break.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just a delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. And even though we look back with not only a sense of acknowledgement of what transpired, I think there's a sense of pride that there's a resilience and a resolve in our people that through a demonstrated respect, not just for each other, but I say this with great humility, an acknowledgement of a greater power, that higher power above that dictates and directs and decides. No matter how much we plan and prepare, if we have the mercy and the grace, we'll have the provision and the protection. I think that's something that our ancestors have been prayerful, and through that prayer, I think we've seen, what we have today. I say that, one, because it's how I feel, but two, to be guided, to be corrected, to be embraced. And I think Mr. Dale, what Minister Bryan said earlier, a strong community that you guys are part of have been so instrumental in keeping connected, but also reminding us that that is the ethos that has been inculcated amongst, I can't say the elders, right, that is translated to those of us like Miss Lucille, who's just in her 88th decade, right, still young and youthful and energetic and enthusiastic, that want that to permeate down to the 8-month-old, who when she starts to walk and talk is going to be reminded that this is who I am, because when I look out the window or across the park now, I can see people who nurture and love and care and protect, just like the Miss Lucille's of a century ago. So Mr. Dale, how do we get where we are?
Thank you, Sterling, for allowing myself and my colleague Miss Seymour there to join in Honorable Minister in this special occasion, because I'm very grateful for the Minister for inviting me and her to come along to help highlight the opening of the Central Scranton Park, the groundbreaking tomorrow afternoon. And I'm very grateful for him to allow us to come along to share our thoughts and our, reminisce on as to where we came from and where we are at this point in time. But I want to say in regards to where we started, this whole thing, dreams came about was from humble beginnings, many years back, more than 2 decades ago, when we first sit around in my mother yard and in the park, which was a slab and with basketball courts and so forth at the time, and we talked about possibilities and coming to spiritual things, because my demeanor, as I heard from my mother, is about coming to spiritual things, helping others in need and any way we could. So it all started from then, as we met on a weekly basis and Tuesday nights especially, and we talked about how we can help our brothers and sisters, being our neighbors, keepers, and so forth, and to try to help people improve their lives in so many ways. We talked about, based on what was said or thought of at the time, when we talked about the children running around on the road in the streets, and we thought about where we could consider getting a place for them to do their activities and so forth, and to have a place where our seniors and our elders can congregate and reminisce and talk about the good old days,
Yes, sir.
So all that came about over a period of time of us, sitting down and talking about these things, and then the park perspective came into play, and we, as time went by, we dwell on it. But, as we talk about it, and we'll come to a point where, as the Honorable Minister said earlier, it started way long before his time, and he has now bring it to a level now that hopefully we can highlight that part of it, and to show the public where we have come as a team, as a community, and hopefully where we expected to do better. But Miss Lucille will dwell more on that. It helped in reminiscing some of the areas that I have not maybe highlighted on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This sounds like
Honor, Mr. Bush, good to see you, man. It's been a while.
Like a hurricane time, but not hurricane. That's like Game 4.
Yeah.
All right. Sterling, I think it'd be appropriate that I recognize the Honorable former Premier of our country, the Honorable Makiva Bush, who's joined us to be here to talk about the other discussion that comes up after we have exited. But I know that he has been aware of what we were trying to do in Central for many years too, while under different regimes, and hence the reason why it's so important. The next speaker, the Honorable Miss Lucille Seymour, who was there when the Progressive administration was in power and had visions from then. So this is how far back this has been going, and I'll open the floor now for her to speak about how far we've come and where we're trying to get to, because the spirit of it is really built from the people like herself and Dale and the rest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Minister, and welcome, Mr. Bush.
Just tell him I'm not here because of Central Park.
But
we'll fix that, sir.
This is all of us that are part of this program. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Kenneth might have been born somewhere but up in there. But I must ask his mom. At least he spent his childhood a lot in Central. And the reason that we're behind this is to help build our communities, our children, our older people, ensure that there's a socialization that we bring up great citizens.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where the park will be situated is in the midst of a wealthy estate. It's in the midst of a wealthy estate, and Georgetowners have lived there for centuries. It was first called Shedden Road. And because I'm from Shedden Road, in the old days there were no addresses except off Shedden Road or Shedden Road. So what happened is that all of us that are working in this come off of that Shedden Road.
Yeah.
And this is, to me, this is heartening because when you look around in the Cayman Islands, where are the green spaces and where are the parks? I know one was being built called the Dark Park up in South Sound. That is some distance away from where we are. But we struggled. You know, we had the concept, we had the hope, but we didn't have the money. And as time goes by, we are building a lot of 10-story buildings, and the people are not getting green spaces. And when Mr. Dale and all his people in the 90s were talking about it, it was to really help the children, help the old folks. And then, as a result of that we spoke with members of the Progressive to ask them to let us buy the land that we were on. And they did. And again, we struggled. And then comes someone who was, I believe, was born down in there. I think so.
Ms. Lucille, I'll cut you real quick just to let the public know. 'Cause actually, I think this is the first time I've ever publicly said it. But I was born behind Patterson's shop. Obviously at Georgetown Hospital, but where my mother and father lived at the time was right behind Mr. Howell's shoe shop and Patterson's shop, behind Miss Elsa Borden. And that's where I grew up. From the heart of Central itself. So not on Martin Drive, but on Shedden Road, just like Miss Lucille.
Yeah,
So
and then he came along before he was a politician to hear us. And I remember he was trying to buy Ace Club. And he sat with us in Miss Francis' outdoor porch. And he said to us, he's going to get this done if he has to do it himself. I always remember that quote. And then he got into politics, and he came up and trying to help us. The interesting thing about this is that I am not telling you the negative part that I hear from people. But when I have even issued some of the invitations to people who were born there, they snarled at me as if, why there? And as if, well, can anything good come out of Nazareth? And my problem with that is that if we don't make the change, us as Caymanians, the change is not going to happen. Yeah. So we are very honored to have the Honorable Minister, who I'm sure fought tooth and nail to put the money out because people don't think that is a place that we should have a park. I don't want us to go on that area. I just want you all to know. So that is why I'm there, and that's why Dale is there, because I come from that area.
We see, as I listen to you, Ms. Lucille, the scripture talks about, without a vision the people perish, right? And there are often times, and whether it's historical, whether it's been said and repeated so often that we've taken it on board, right? We allow, the collective we allow others. So we create a divide immediately, us and them, we allow others to disparage, discredit, and disrespect, and whatever they say divides. But more importantly, we take on board, nothing good can come from SB or Central or this or that. But yet, unless and until we change that perspective by showing, I say that, Mr. Dale, I have to call that. I keep saying no, it's just Dale, but it is the way we were raised, right? Even though Minister Brian is younger than all of us here, we're going to have deference to him and his position because of how we were raised. And I like when Dale said just now, my mother's. He wasn't misspeaking, pluralizing, because your mother in your community wasn't just your biological mother. It was that extension.
That's true. I mean, certainly, what you're trying to say in true fact, you know, I pride myself in so many ways, and it was all due to. I can name 7 individuals, including my mother, who have helped me to be who I am today. They have shared so many values to me, and that's why I'm trying to give that back in every way I can possibly do, you know, because those women in the community have taught me so many valuable things that, you know, it's, you know, but my mother is first and foremost, because I am who I am today because of her, because of she have demonstrated the community spirit. That's why I'm showing that today, and to share with others my feelings to others, and expect others to follow steps. You see?
If I may, yes, Dwayne, I want to highlight something that I found so powerful that a lot of people may be losing this in our community, but it's still relevant and central. Even when the park, as it was before, it was just a little cover where we would give the food out, and there was a basketball court where we had Mother's Day and Father's Days events and stuff like that whenever the celebration came on. But the one powerful thing, and this is why I love my community so much, people may say, you know, certain type of people be doing certain kind of things or what have you, right? But there was an understanding in our community that park, you don't drink there, you don't smoke there, you don't go there and do anything. And no matter how bad a person may have been, it was a known principle within our community that, okay, that's sacred ground. It's almost like a church. And that shows who we are. So Central, no matter what people may think or say, there's a discipline within our community that is respected among us, that even the young man who may smoke a little weed, let's be honest about it, he knew that, boy, if Miss Francis ever saw me over there and told my mother, I'd be in so much trouble. And there was a respect for the space. And that's why when people say, just like what Miss Lucille referred to, well, why are you putting this multi-million-dollar park down in there? I said, because they deserve it just as good as anybody else. If they deserve it in South Sound, my people in Central deserve it just as much. Because that's the core of what Georgetown was, right? And still is today. So I want to show you something. I'm going to give you a sneak peek where nobody else will get to see. The committee members have seen it already. So it's going to be revealed tomorrow. But then you can practically audio describe what you see while I just share with the public some different information about it. So this park will have 3 main components. 1, a youth center for kids, whereby they can come after school, do their homework, do social clubs, a positive, safe space for them to be in. Secondly, a seniors community center, which will be focused on our seniors. Our seniors need to be more respected and appreciated even after they're retired, and they have to have somewhere they can socialize. One of the biggest concerns for me is that after retirement for seniors in the Cayman Islands, they start to, I hate to use this word, but diminish and because they don't feel like there's a purpose. This center that we're building is going to I hope, and I don't want to spoil all the announcements, but this Central Scranton Committee will be poised with the responsibility of making sure that the seniors have something to do every day of the week, and they'll have a place that they can call their own in the heart of town. The third component of this park is the green space, as you heard Miss Lucille speak about before. Somewhere where you can go and relax, sit down with your friends, catch up on old times, a place where kids can go and play in a safe space, or you just want a mental health break. It's also it's borderline with the civil service government building, whereby there will be a connecting gate between the two. So civil servants, after you ready for your lunch break, you bring your, what do you call it, pudding pan from home with your food that you cook from your lunch kit. You can go down there, heat up your food, and sit underneath the tree, look at the ducks and the birds, and eat your food and get a little mental health break. Because the world is a bit tough. You know, and you sometimes just want to get away from it at all, let go of your phone, don't look at anything, and just feel the good old Cayman breeze in a positive environment. So from that perspective, mental health, seniors' respect and appreciation for what they've built and gave us, and our youth and our next generation. but also to have social events, whether there is, a Christmas party, birthday party, a location that you can go to the committee and say, can we use this hall for a day? Because we have a positive event. And this hall is not going to be used up by inappropriate things. It has to be positive to the community. The next thing that is also very important, because you want to have events there that brings the traffic and bring the positivity. There's a multi-purpose court whereby, for example, a foundation sport that we do not give enough respect to in this country, which is netball, will be able to play netball there. It's also going to be used for five-a-side football as well as for basketball court. So with all of these components within one space, we think there will be enough traffic of positivity in the area as we watch and see the developments happen around us. We're trying to save and protect the history of what Georgetown is in its positivity. So you had a chance to see. Maybe you can describe what you saw, maybe after the break or whenever you feel free. But I want everybody to come tomorrow at 5 p.m., which will be at the location of off of Shedden Road, Miss Francis Lane. And the time is 5 p.m. We will be doing the groundbreaking. There are going to be some speaking points from a number of dignitaries. Mr. Dale Ramon will give remarks. And Mr. Bush, who's here with us in the studio, will also be there. And I don't know if Mr. Bush wants to add any context to the value
before
of it.
we go, can we just take the break?
Yes.
And I'll also give remarks to Warnie. Let's
Yeah.
join us after the break.
Okay.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
CUC Advisory. Customers are advised of a scheduled outage on Monday, September 16th between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. for a section of West Bay Road between Sundowner Condos and Aqua Bay Club. For more information, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200, email service@cuc.ky, or visit their website at cuc-cayman.com.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
Prescription refills made easy at Savannah Pharmacy. WhatsApp your prescription refills to 929-5045.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
The best foundation you can wear is glowing, healthy skin. The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter specialize in enhancing your skin's well-being. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, including any skin cancers, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email drporterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020. That is 946-9020.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you so much. Sorry, Mr. Bush. Yeah. Listen, yeah, we're live. We're having an opportunity that I think is fantastic, because whereas today represents 20 years since the passage of Hurricane Ivan, many would say at that time what it did, it caused us all to reflect, recognize, and respect what was truly valuable. That was life. Not just the liberty and the pursuit of happiness as maybe ascribed in some jurisdiction, but the fact that we lived as one, and for a short time we were reminded of what was truly important. Community. The fact that you were not only your brother's keeper, you knew your community. Honorable Minister, through you and Mr. Lucille and Mr. Dale, tomorrow evening, I think the wider community, not just the Georgetown proper community, but the country could see this, take a page. This could be replicated in the BRAC as well as in East End, in West Bay, somewhere in Bosun Bay, Barkas, or Burstree Hill, or even along other parts.
Well, thank you so much for bringing that up, and I'm gonna just answer that and then remind people to come, and then I want the closing remarks from my peers, right? Because I don't want to take up all the time. But having Georgetown Central develop the way we are trying to develop it, we hope will be a prime example of how we should do it everywhere else. And the key component to that is the Central Scranton Committee. Now, this is a committee that has been doing yearly programs free of cost, right? With taking money out of their own pocket. I see Mr. Dale Ramon here. Nobody gives him enough credit. This man have been spending money out of his own pocket on light, water, food, all kind of different things for years. I remember when I first got elected, I said, why don't you guys stand on profit? You know you can go get people to give you money to do it. Oh, but we do it because we do it for... Well, a light bill coming to him every single day, and I felt bad, but that was the commitment they've been doing for decades. I'm putting the government's money where its mouth is, whereby, and not to spoil any announcements, but we'll be paying the Central Scranton Committee to help continue to develop the positive Central with the facilities that are necessary to deliver them, so that they can do the right way. I know there's so many things we wanted to do, and I'm certain if the committee can do it, it'll be the Central Scranton Committee, non-profit committee at that. And I'll be doing some more announcements tomorrow, and I don't want to spoil all of them. But I want everybody to take this opportunity. Please, if you can make more, you're going to be excited. And there's food. They always go food. So come for food. There's Georgetown food will be served, and watch what we reveal tomorrow and what the plan of actions is at 5 p.m. tomorrow, which is at the future Central Scranton Park, which is off Shedden Road, Miss Francis Street, at where the old Central Scranton Park was, which has been expanded to over 3 acres in size. So please, come on down. Everybody's welcome. And it's not only about Georgetowners, anybody, particularly our seniors. This is really focused on you primarily. You're at the top of the list, and then youth, and then everybody else afterwards. So please come. So with that being said, I'll ask Ms. Lucille to say a few...
Jim, where we go and learn about our history was once a jail. But it's a good thing now. So the transformations that we can make. I believe, I come off of Shedden Road. Many brilliant and effective persons have come off of Shedden Road. When I said to a person the other day, where it was, I said, nobody troubles me there. You know what they say? Oh, they know you. I said, this is Cayman. I can walk anywhere at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not saying somebody might look at me and say, you walk hipsy. They might say that. But at the end of the day, this is Cayman. What? The reason that we're in this, as the minister said, we will be not doing justice to our people if all we do is let 10-story buildings take away their vision, their visibility. The park, to me, will come out good. And I want to remind you where Central is. Crew Road, Tropical Garden, far, across Elgin Avenue, Scranton, over a little bit on Mary Street, over a little bit in Breezy Castle, over a little bit in Rockwood. So Central is not just Martin Square. But if I lived, I'm 80 years old in December, in Monday, and our vision for our people has not changed. When I was growing and going to school and doing well, I was Maudie old girl from up in the bush. I'm still Maudie old girl from up in the bush, but look what I've become. Beat me if you want.
Yeah.
And this is what we're trying to do for people.
Yeah.
But we have to give right where right is. And we have to say to those persons that help us buy the land first, who were Mr. Sir Alden, Christine was pushing it, and Mr. Tibbetts.
Kurt Tibbetts, yes.
Mr. Kurt Tibbetts.
Your brother.
And no, well, he was called. So we have to call George. Well, we borrowed the land from Miss Queenie and Gregory, who's passed away. We borrowed that, but then we asked that government to buy it.
Yeah.
Now, when Mr. and I think this is important with partnerships. When Mr. Kenneth came along, we were struggling because people did not see anything good coming of Nazareth.
Yeah, and Ms. Lucille.
And he really, and I want to minute this, that this is why we're here, and why we're staying with it.
And this is where I think when Honorable Minister came in officially, but this is why we would like, after tomorrow, have other discussions to use this as a way of not only incentivizing other communities to replicate it, but to recognize the importance, whether in physical structure, but more important, as the Honorable Minister pointed out, we have places in this country where people don't do certain things irrespective of what they may do elsewhere. That may be somebody's backyard, but they respect that they have somewhere own.
Yes.
No matter how badly behaved they are, they know. So I appreciate that we're into the news break, but Mr. Dale, maybe a closing comment and invitation.
Yeah, thanks for that, Sterling. In light of what Mr. Lucy was saying in terms of the property, we got well, Anthony and Rex Ebanks at the time got permission from Angela Gregory and Martin Gregory, who passed on some time back, permission to utilize their property. But prior to that, Mr. Kurt Tibbetts and even Mr. Mike Adams have tried to purchase land or get land down there when he was Minister for Community Affairs at that time. And so we got to remember those people. We're not going to remember everybody at this time, but as time go by, and we want to be able to remember all those who have contributed in every way possible, the purchase of a land and so forth. And as Lucy was saying, in terms of we have done so much within the community to help out people and to help out ourselves, our families, and our friends. But we have been one of the best things that we are as a community. We have been too welcoming, and some of the negative things that we have heard about that community is because of who we allowed to come in there and to do the things that has took place there. But nevertheless, Mr. Normal Ken Bryan came along a couple of years back, and as Lucy said, he heard our dreams and our aspirations and so forth. And I must say, the aggression and the dedication, the commitment that he put into it, and to bring us to this far right now, I'm very grateful for all that he had done so far on a personal note. And I'm quite sure, given more time, he's going to take us to the next level and so forth. So I want to thank you, Honorable Ken Bryan, of what you have done so far in your effort. And I'm quite sure your dreams are our dreams, and we'll get there together, hopefully.
Amen.
This is,
If I can just close by reminding those who may want to come to the ceremony tomorrow, the groundbreaking ceremony, and you don't have transportation, if you would like transportation, you can call the President, Dale Ramon, at 916-1578. Again, 916-1578, and we'll organize transportation to pick you up so you can be there at the groundbreaking ceremony for the Central Scranton Community Park tomorrow at 5 p.m. And if you would allow, Sterling, I'd be happy to come on for another half an hour tomorrow, because tomorrow is between 12 and 2. We can talk further about the details of how we got here, because trust me, there's at least about 160 people I can think of off the top of my head who've been a part of this journey to get this park where it is, and they need to be mentioned in some capacity. So I'm happy to come back on tomorrow.
Okay.
But I want to, through you, sir, to remind the civil servants that a park is being built with them in mind. And when instead of eating those things that we eat and then we don't get any exercise, the park is there for them to come down on their lunch hour or after work and utilize it and work with us.
Right.
Thank you.
Well, we're looking forward to that partnership and helping to support, but also to promote the doing the construction and the use thereafter. Thank you all, Mr. Bryan. I'll make sure that we have a slot and we can chat. To our listeners, hey, it's together, a good fish tea. Join us after the break. We talk some more.
Yesterday, today,
always and forever.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. A man aged 61 who resides in Georgetown has been arrested on suspicion of manslaughter by reason of gross negligence in relation to an incident that occurred on January 21st, 2024. He is currently on police bail pending further investigation. In international news, Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala Harris for president moments after the end of Tuesday night's presidential debate against Donald Trump. The pop star made her announcement in an Instagram post signed as Childless Cat Lady, a reference to comments by Trump's running mate J.D. Vance. Her post, breaking her silence on the 2024 vote, explained, "I'm voting for Kamala Harris because she fights for the rights and causes I believe need a warrior to champion them." Rachel Gunn remains the #1 female breakdancer in the world despite a controversial Olympic performance for Team Australia that divided the internet and left her with a score of 0. Responding to questions about its rankings, the sport's governing body has issued a statement explaining its methodology to address concerns and provide clarity. It said each athlete was assessed based on their top 4 performances in the last 12 months and that Olympic events, including qualifiers, were excluded. Gunn, who performs as Ray Gunn, has continued to defend her record as Australia's best B-girl amid questions over her qualifications. The 37-year-old university lecturer failed to score any points in all 3 of her competition rounds in Paris, with a routine that included unorthodox moves such as the sprinkler and the kangaroo hop.
More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The Health Services Authority would like to thank you, the Cayman community, for voting us the Best of Cayman Islands 2024 in 13 medical categories. As the largest and longest healthcare provider in the Cayman Islands, we have been caring for you for many generations, helping the people of our islands live longer, healthier, and happier lives. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you. For more information, visit hsa.ky or call 949-8600.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Holroy Eric Lorenzo Walton, born on August 13, 1936 in Bogasan, Caymanbrac, was not only an avid artist and seaman, affectionately named Roy, he also made significant impacts in the construction industry, founding H&A Construction in 1972 and working on landmark projects. He was also a passionate educator, hosting free art classes for children and fostering creativity through an annual art competition at Spot Bay Primary School. Roy and his wife Anne were dedicated to preserving the heritage of the Sister Islands, designing the lighthouse statue at the Caymanbrac and Little Cayman's Seamen's Center. Roy's efforts in collecting and displaying seafaring history ensured that the stories of Caymanian seafarers would be passed down to future generations. His life's work continues to resonate with the community and beyond.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands.
Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The rich flavors of Italy just arrived at Subway. Say ciao to the Italianos. Our 3 new Subway series recipes, carefully crafted with an Italian flair. Try the Hot Shot Italiano for an enticing and zesty touch. The tastier than ever Ultimate BMT, generously stuffed with a mix of ham, pepperoni, and salami. Or go all in with a creamy chicken bacon Alfredo. New Subway series Italianos. Chef-crafted greatness in every bite. Elevate your game only at Subway. Delizioso.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome and thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Bush. All right. As we celebrate or commemorate, perhaps some would say would be more appropriate, the passage of Hurricane Ivan 2 decades ago. Yes, sir. In the studio, if you're not only able to listen, but to watch us on our YouTube and the like. You want some water, sir? That's a gentleman coughing is the Honorable W. McKeever Bush, not only the first premier and affectionately termed the father of the house. Maybe that's a preview, sir, and a prelude to when you give your presentations in Parliament. You know, not coughing, getting ready to speak.
I've been.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. But I've been down with this flu since last week. Wednesday, even lost my voice at one point when I was at a conference. Can you imagine that? And I couldn't speak. I couldn't be at a conference. But yeah, I did.
Yeah. I almost want to make a joke, but I won't this time because. But thank you for coming here. And as we look at what can we get you so I tell you what, if you make it more comfortable, you turn that other headset piece around. Yeah, your right hand. No, keep it the same way it was, and see how you got this one here like this.
One is operating the next.
Yeah.
Next one operating. But that's similar to government, right? One department working against the next one.
I gotta leave it to you. Okay, watch me now, right? You see how you got the left one like this? Take it and turn it like this. So the cushion. So take your left hand and spin it.
The left?
Yeah, spin it this way. There you go. And then let's put it in much softer. I know you know. Anyway, let me leave that alone. Much better, right? More comfortable, huh?
It's a little bit better.
Yeah, but you're not hearing no better.
Maybe you know what you think it should be, but anyway.
Okay, but you were saying like government not working properly. I mean, but you tell me what you meant, sir.
No, that's another story.
I'll be here, man. My coffee was good, but it wasn't that good.
No, that's another story.
Mr. Bush, if I might, because I think many times we learn through levity, right? And a little bit of laughter can bring much joy to others. It soothes the heart at times and calms the angst that many may have. When you look back over the 20 years since the passage of Hurricane Ivan, I want you, as willing as you may, to share with us, your experience, sort of leading up to it, what you encountered during, but sort of what has it been like thereafter.
Well, let me say that when I look back on all the things that happened, I saw and I see, I feel the selfishness that went on, but I also saw the many people that came forward to help at that point in time when we were struck. But I also saw, and I also remember, and I cannot forget how I was treated as leader of the government at the time, and how Cayman was neglected by the FCO people. But about all of that, that may be so. But you ask me what I remember is how it started. And September 11th, 12th, we had 36 hours of a hurricane blowing at 150, 100, people say 200. We do not know because I don't think the people responsible or the people that had the machinery got it right. Some people say to me, Mac, this was a 250. Old people too.
Yeah.
Say to me, this was a 250 miles an hour or more.
Yeah.
And I didn't know. But anyway, I know what happened. I was the leader of government at the time. And Dinwiddie, and he was a Dinwiddie. And I ain't pulling no punches here today because people don't know. I have it in my book, which I have not published. But I tell the story, and I'll tell a preview of it here. We saw the development, as we usually do, of hurricanes coming off the African coast and getting up to the Windward Islands, and we saw that Grenada was going to be hit with it. And by then it had, I can't remember the mileage, but it had become a strong hurricane by then. And Grenada got hit. And I remember when Grenada got hit and it started coming in a direct line going towards Jamaica, I realized then the unpredictability of hurricanes. I'm not one that understands. I listen to, but of course I have to as a representative and as a human in our islands. I got to tell the truth, depend on the premier, who has taken a keen interest in the weather and gives us a pretty good synopsis at all times. Premier Juliana O'Connor. She was my deputy at the time. Anyway, at the time, Dinwiddie was the governor. And when it hit Grenada and went towards us, and then I said on Thursday, remember Friday is when, probably Thursday night, in fact, we started to feel real, I know that, but the real weather hit us on Friday, starting from then. And I remember talking to the governor. Before that, I had put forward, long before that, I had put forward a plan for disaster preparedness, prepared for me as leader of the government by Marsh McLennan. That was a company here. I don't know if they're still in operation or not, but they were good clients of the government, and they were well known for what they did in different areas. They were good consultants. I don't know if anybody's still here. And the governor rejected it. He rejected it and told me you had to pay for it, but because from then there was a feeling in governance at the top that politicians shouldn't have certain say, because that's what the kind of feeling going on in England with the change back then in 2010 with the Conservatives getting elected. And they felt, civil servants and civil servants consultants, not just civil servants, because civil servants had to get consultants. But they was who was supposed to do it and not politicians. And my feeling has been from then, well, always has been, but up until now, I take advice, but I am ultimately responsible because you have elected me to make a decision, and I will make that decision and do what I feel, and I do it in prayer. Regardless who want to say as well. I ask God for guidance. I ask people that I believe in to pray, and I believe that they themselves are good Christians. That's where I take my guidance from. Mm-hmm. And I do not believe that I need to sit back and wait from Joe Harry from the moon to tell me what to do. I can listen, and then I have to figure out whether his advice was better than what I have. But that came, and the governor rejected the whole plan from Marsh McLennan. And Mike, I tell you, I cussed day and night about that. But that's what I was going through with, because before that, before then, as it came upon 2009, they thought I would buckle under and give in to what their wishes were, probably still are, get rid of 600 civil servants and create this big income tax and property tax and value-added tax, VAT. And I said, not under my watch, because I think our country is rich enough to carry this burden that we have. But from then it started, and he would not agree, Dinwiddie. He would not agree to go with that plan. It was a doggone good plan, that plan for hurricanes, earthquake, and other disasters, natural and man-made disasters. Anyway, it got rejected. It came up when we saw that. I remember I was sitting in the glass house. We was in my office, and we were watching the weather. And that afternoon, that Wednesday afternoon, I said to him, this is a serious thing coming this way. Oh, well, we'll watch it till Friday. I said, I don't believe so. Anyway, I am not a seaman. I'm not a weatherman. I just watch things and read. Anyway, Thursday morning, when we saw it, it had, I think sometime on Thursday, whether it was morning or afternoon, it made a dog leg and came back towards Cayman, coming this way from Jamaica, not going towards Jamaica, but coming towards us. And I said to him, it got to be after lunch. I said to him, Governor, this thing is coming our way. And you want to wait till Friday, you can wait till Friday if you want, but not McKeever Bush. And he said, well, I'm not going to make any things until later on this afternoon. I said, you can stay till the afternoon. I'm not staying till this afternoon. I said, I am going, I can tell the rest of my ministers, but I am going to West Bay and take care of my constituency first. And I have told the ministers they can take care of theirs. Well, I left him there. At the last I saw him till Monday. I left him and I went to West Bay. And then, we had an all-district voting organization. We had 100 members in our committee at that time. And I don't know whether you was there, Sterling, or you had run against us or what, but...
You be yourself now.
Anyway, we had about 100 members committee.
Yeah.
And from that I could pull about 36 or 37 solid West Bay men. And I come to my yard and said, listen, they see this. And but before that I had went to some senior citizens. I went, you know who I went to? Harvey and his wife, okay? And Gladys. I say, I don't know, some cousins, but that's what we were, right? And they were my strong supporters. And he said to me, Mac, Kim is going to get a lick on this. I talked to my mother, who don't remember quite the age, but she turned 100 on Saturday. So she was about 80 then, I guess. And she said, oh, this is not good. She said, I can feel it. And she said, see, you see all these mangoes on your trees? All that my mother told me. But my aunt, who was much older, she turned 103 on Salina and lived on Reverend Blackman Road. And she said, this is coming. And she said, you know what you do? And Mr. Harvey told me the same thing. Go in North Sound and test that water. So I went to the North Sound, and make I tell you, the hottest breeze I felt in any time coming off came off, was coming off the North Sound. But when I tested the water, I put my finger in the water. Make I tell you, that wasn't warm. That was hot.
Yeah.
So, my mother said, "I told you so." And I said, I stopped to see her. That was the last time I saw her, though. I went back to see her later. I'll tell you about that, too.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "I told you." And I called that afternoon. That late, about 6 o'clock or so, I called because I left the governor, Dinwiddie. It was well after 12 when I left him. And he told me that I had no right to leave my post. I said, "You think this is an army?" I said, "This will be an army later on, but it's not an army now. And if you don't have nothing constitutional to hold me, I am going West Bay. You stay here." So I did that. And it must have been about 6 o'clock. And I got them together. And we started to figure out. I knew I would get some ability to, because by then the economy had picked up after the 2000 and 2001 crash at that time, remember?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And 2001, 2002 crash. All up to then, we had picked up well. Our the budget, the treasury had good money. And George said to me, "Mac," and I checked with George. And he
Who
said,
was then the financial
secretary. And I said, "George, how?" He said, "Mac, we will manage this through." He said, "God does not fail me." And you know, he's one, as far as I'm concerned, one of the best Christians that I've ever met. And I knew we had it. I said to him, "I do not, Mr. 7 to 10, I do not know how much we will get, but we need to do some things on ourselves. So let us go out and see." So we had about 3 or 4 contractors, Mr. Garfield, Ebanks from Northwest Point, Mr. Alan Bush. And they never got paid for probably 3 or 4 bundles of plywood. And then as it got closer, I called different developers and said, "We need help." And the island's going to need help. And they said, "Mac, we're here for you. We can help whatever we could." And we started to get plywood to board up. I was dealing with West Bay because that's my constituency. But at the time, I was keeping in contact with Mr. Gilbert and Mr. Roy, Frank McField, Mr. Linford, I think, was the speaker at the time. Juliana was back in the back and watching out for that situation. But we were coordinating.
Mm.
And Ralston and myself, West Bay, Captain Eugene, and CG, who were involved in government management, but they were backbenchers. Constitutional, they were backbenchers. But we started, and we went out, and at that time, right, I mean, as it got closer, because the weather started to darken, the weather started to rain, people, those guys work. I don't remember all of them. I know I could go back and sit down and remember who it was, but I remember the contractors, you know. And we put certain people, asked them I remember the Powers, Mr. Alfred Powery. We asked him if, you know, things happen. He said, he always called me Mr. Bush. He said, "Mr. Bush, whatever happens, we are here to do the best for the community." The next one was, Smith.
Jesse.
Yeah. And Jesse was actually, him and Alfredo Powery, was the first on the road, clearing stuff out of the way on Monday morning, because that's when everybody could get out, right? So that they, we started to put our own machinery in place as best as we could, hire spots, etc., in the community. People made their own decisions because there was no plan.
Yeah.
We had a plan in our committee as to what we could do, you know, as a committee and as members of the community. But the truth is, government never really had no plan. I don't care what they say, they never had no plan.
Yeah. It is, I think, as we go into the break, something that the community should reflect on. As a people, we always acted together. We didn't wait for them.
No. But let me just tell. I want to get. I was going there to that beginning to tell you what happened. This last one, I'll add that on.
Yeah.
This last one, which is now districts are separated, and people might think that I have a beef on that, but the facts are the facts. In my small area, you know what I had to spend? Well, over $5,000 because the guys that had the trucks, the guys that could help, said, Mac, I can give you some time, but the rest of it you have to pay for. That was the difference.
Because you're divided now.
It's a divided society, community. And I said, wow. Now, I don't have this money, okay? But then government decided they were going to do some things too.
Yeah.
And this one I'm talking about, not Iowa. Iowa, everybody came out.
Right.
And I want to get back to that, but adding on to where we were on that Thursday afternoon and Friday morning, to now, this last one, I had to pay.
Yeah.
And they said, Mac, I'm sorry, gas is too high. I don't really have I know I am working, I have a truck, but I'm working on my own, so I have to live. And so that's what I had to pay, right? That's the difference that the community has changed in that time. So if you want to say that was this year, that's 20 years.
And for people who may not quite understand exactly, you're talking about because of the political the political division of their constituencies.
Yeah. I couldn't go. No.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I couldn't go. I didn't go because I figured that Andrew had his people, Berner had his people, if any, and Kathy had her people. I certainly have had a group that I could call on, but they, as I said, they just said, Mark, we can give so much, but gas and our needs at the time, we need.
So we're not working together. We're sort of working along divided political lines.
Yes, it was really political lines because of that that situation where we split.
So,
but get back to the Hurricane Ivan. So that evening, we finished about 11:30, quarter 12, maybe quarter 1. And we met back at my place, and it was drizzling, if not in squalls. But it was wet. And we said, fellas, okay. And then some of them said, Mac, at least 2 families of them said, Mac, I don't think my roof can stand up. What do you think about yours? And I said, well, you know, my roof was built by Peter Thompson, and I put my trust in him. And they said, well, can we come by you? I said, oh, yes. But by Friday, I had 62 people in my home. And that was because through the night, and the homes, roofs went, and people came. Friday and Saturday, people came. I'll get to one family who was with a baby, a newborn baby. Anyway, I had ended up with 62 people at my house. And the hurricane went on. One of the memorable thing with me, well, of course, is playing because I was leader until May 2005. Is how bad we were treated by the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, and how some people here behaved, because politics got in the way after the hurricane went on Monday. As the weekend went on, one of the things was that people keep coming to my house because the town hall, school hall was filled. And I remember before closing up on Salina, you know her, and she died on 103. So I went to look for her at she's on Reverend Blackman Road that afternoon. After she had told me to go to North Sound, I said, on Salina, I want you to come. Her one son had already tried to get her to do so, move. And she said, I am married to Cooley for all these years. And he now moved me. You think about name Iwan come move me? I remember that plain as day. And she didn't move. She didn't move. And not even things that were flying around and stuck in people's roofs or stuck in people's walls which that happened. Nothing happened to her. I went back to her the Monday morning, first thing, going to the police station, because she was on the way to the police station, and she said to me, she said, "What I told you?" She said, "I believe in a God." No, I won.
Mr. Bush, respectfully, let's just take this quick break.
Stop at that point?
Yeah,
Okay.
and we'll come back, and as we reflect, well, we ask you to join us after. Stay tuned.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Discover your dream home with Cayman National's home loan. Get up to 95% financing, repayment up to 40 years, and just a 0.5% commitment fee. Your interest rate? Depending on your risk factors, it'll be fixed or variable. Plus, you get a pre-approved credit card. This is a limited time offer. Dial 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
The public is invited to join Minister Kenneth Bryan this Thursday, September 12th at 5 p.m. for the groundbreaking ceremony of the new Central Scranton Community Park. The new park will have a multi-use court, walking trails, and a community center supporting activities for both youth and elderly. The groundbreaking ceremony will take place this Thursday at 5 p.m. on Miss Francis Street, just off Shedden Road in Georgetown. Parking is available along Miss Francis Street, but spaces are limited. Refreshments will be served, and everyone is invited to attend.
The sale you've been waiting for is here. Brand Source Home Gallery's custom closet and kitchen cabinet sale is now through September 30th. Save 20% on closets, pantries, Murphy beds, wall units, media centers, and that long overdue kitchen cabinet makeover. Our designers will create your dream closet or kitchen. Choose from our in-stock selection or special order and have installed before December. Shop now and save 20% with Brand Source Home Gallery's custom closet and kitchen cabinet sale. Hurry, sale ends September 30th. Visit us at 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, or call 623-5000.
Radio Cayman News. First-hand accounts, stories of resilience, and a message of hope.
Cayman Islands are forever grateful that our resilience was not defeated.
The tapestry of unity, gratitude, and resilience are the true legacy of Hurricane Ivan's impact.
We can remember it like yesterday.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Did you know ordering your favorite sandwich from Subway just got easier? Yeah, picture this. No more waiting in line. No more fussing with cash. Just the delicious taste of Subway at your fingertips. With our new app, ordering your go-to sub is as easy as a few taps on your phone. Plus, receive exclusive deals and earn loyalty points with every purchase made on the app. Download the new Subway app today and get ready to ditch the lines and drive straight into your flavor. Visit the App Store or Google Play Store on your mobile phone and search for Subway Cayman Islands. Subway. Eat fresh.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week?
And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Find your dream car with a Cayman National Vehicle Loan. Enjoy 100% financing, up to 8-year repayment, and a 7% fixed interest rate for the first 5 years. For eco-friendly cars, we'll waive your commitment fee. This only applies to new vehicles. Call 949-8300 or email lending@caymannational.com today.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone, and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
Are you ready for non-stop laughter? Cayman's biggest comedy show returns. What Happening is happening, featuring the all-star cast. Bring the family, bring your friends, bring your grandma. Treat yourself to a night of fun and back-breaking, side-splitting, laughing until you choke comedy. Directed by Matt Brown.
Drop the joke now, man. What happening? Tell me.
At the Harquail Theater, September 27th until October 13th. Proudly presented by the Cayman National Cultural Foundation. Tickets on sale now at ticketsplus.ky.
What happening? Drop the joke now, man.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And as we reflect on the passage of Hurricane Ivan and sort of not just reminisce, but commemorate what has transpired, Honorable W. McKeever Bush is our guest. And for those who remember, what is now the premier sort of was what it was, but entitled, you were the leader of government business. Is that official title at that time politically, Mr. Bush, during Hurricane Ivan?
Yeah, I was the leader of government business. And
okay.
In fact, at that time, it was constitutionally put.
Yeah.
The leader of the opposition, that was done in 2003, I think, or 2. Kurt was the leader of the opposition officially, constitutionally, and I was the leader of the government at the time.
Right.
That was put in place, and that's the only worthwhile thing that Dinwiddie done when he was young, because he done nothing else.
Yeah, tell us that story. But you, in that vein, as we look and reflect on Ivan, you talking about, the division and how, the selfishness and how you were treated. Can you, share as you wish, because we need this.
Yeah, as I said, at that night, I recall, and I because I've written it in my book, the next big event was all those people coming, and the licks I heard my house taken. That's why I know I have a strong building, and didn't lose my roof. I lost caps, the caps that you put on top of a cement tile, 'cause that's what I have on my roof. And man, and my maid breaking down and crying. And the truth is, I still had my mother, who was very sick, and my mother-in-law, who was very sick. In fact, she died. My mother died right after the next year in May. After that, she died. Anyway, the next year she died. But they were all sick, and what I had did was to get 2 nurses, and Dr. Joe Marzuka helped me organize some medical things in case things happen, and that's how prepared we were in the community. And I had Dr. Joe, and he helped a tremendous lot, and he got me 2 nurses who stayed with me. and could take care of them. And through the night when the roofs went in the different areas, people came. And remember Miss Jenny Bush came, and they had a newborn baby at the time, and all her roof had gone. When she got hold, when I got hold to her, she said, oh, Mickey, and you know, these old people crying, and she said, oh, my roof is gone, everything is wet up, and so we got her out before it really struck us, you know. So we got them in there, and like I said, 60-something people there. The next big event for me was plenty, because I was still leading government business. I couldn't contact nobody because after a while, communications. One of the last persons, not even my family, but I got hold to Sam Bulgin, and all his roof had gone, and he was stuck in the his bathroom with a mattress, and I got hold of Kirkland, because sometimes the phone what they gave us would work, sometimes it didn't work. Kirkland was head fire. That's where the governor's headquarters. That's where the governor was, and the governor. I got home and said, Kirkland, can you send the biggest vehicle down to Sam? Sam is there virtually in the open, and other people at the same. He said, Mac, hear what I'm saying. You know how he talks. Hear what I'm saying. These trucks is up to their axle in water, can't move. I said, wow. Anyway, Sam made it. I think somebody got to him. That was one. The next big event was I lost contact with my daughter, and her apartment was in an area right where I grew up, and right behind where I grew up, which I knew was a water hole. And I told them, listen, get out of there, because that place floods. No, we can stay here. And they had a house party, yeah? But by 4 o'clock, I lost contact with them. And at by 4:30, anyway, later. But I then decided I couldn't take it anymore. We had my granddaughter, my eldest granddaughter, and my brother-in-law roof went, and he was married to a Honduran lady who still were friends, and they had family there who came from Georgetown to be with them. So it was about 16 of them, and he's got damage in his eyes, and but luckily one of them had one of them high trucks, and by 8:30, 9 o'clock, when it was really heavy, I had got hold of Alan Bush, who was married to my cousin, and they were opposite side, and he said, Mac, I went up there to pick up his mother-in-law, who went by your house, Dexter old house, and they said water had come up there, so they went and get her out, and they was there, her and my uncle, and eventually he said, Mac, I can't go back up there because my truck can't manage this. Luckily, this truck was there that I had taken in. I didn't know the people, and we got them, and it took 4 men to hold my front door so that I could get out. When I got out and this man got out, we couldn't stand up. We had to crawl on our knees, because that time it was more like coming from southeast, and we crawled to his truck. And how we got her going, we couldn't head straight into the wind, because we would be going directly southeast where the truck was parked. And Dwayne, he would go a little bit right, turn a little bit left. That's how we got a zigzag.
You were talking him?
He was talking. and till we got up to another point, we could drive a little straighter. When we got up to the main road, you know where my house is?
Yeah.
I saw someone coming. I said, but wait a minute. Listen, when I looked up in the sky, it was a zinc. There was wood flying all over the place. But I had to go to look for my daughter and her family. And when I saw this man coming with a bicycle. But how he had a bicycle, them wheels were moving, but he was walking with a bicycle. I said, look at this. That must be a ghost of some kind. Anyway, it was that time in the morning. It was real. That was tough. Rain at that time. I don't know what the miles in what it was. Anyway, my up the road. As I got to the road, then I got left to go towards the town hall, and then turn right. The water from the North Sound had come up to the West Bay, what we call the Town Hall Road. That's the water had come. They hadn't come past that. In fact, one of the funny parts, we saw these two dogs by my house. I said, Jesus, God, look at the water must be this high. But I said, no, then it can't be this high because my house will be flooded too. But these dogs was in the wind, carrying them across, smiling as if they was happy. Yeah. Anyway, we got up there, and I got down with this truck. And by the time I got to my daughter's, the dog was on the baby was up on the counter. Her dog, house dog they had, was up on the kitchen counter. That's how far the water had got, and I knew it was going to happen. The worst part was my grandson, my eldest grandson, was in the next apartment just to the east of them, in the same yard. And Dwayne, the hardest thing was for me, the truck could not go to pick him up, and he was there waving. Up until now, I shed tears about it. To pick him up, we had to leave them. But he was also on the counter, and he was a little boy, a little bit older than 2 years older than my granddaughter, because she was a baby then. We got back down. I picked up my family. They couldn't open the door. I climbed through the window of the truck and got them out, took them back to my house. And my brother then said, no, you can't go back. I was going back to look for my grandson. And my brother said, no. We going. And they went back. How they got up to him, they found a boat drifted down from up there, wherever it came from, right? Because all of that was flooded, Church Street, from the North Sound to there. That was salt water. And they got a boat. And him and my brother and Henny, my granddaughter, step-grandfather, and they got in a boat and went back up to the house and picked up my grandson and his mother, because that's who was there, came back to my house. Those were very memorable. I mean, besides all the things that I had to go through as a leader, as a family person, you can imagine what it was. My mother was with me. I was worried sick about Aunt Selina, but as I said, Monday morning I went, and she said, well, I told you, Kula couldn't move me, so I wasn't moving me either. And she was okay. Her house wasn't touched. And so Monday morning, by the time I could get out, Jesse and Alfredo and them had started to clear West Bay streets. So we were lucky to that point with Northwest Point, etc., Watercoast Road and all those other places. Not completely clear, but clear enough for people to move, because, the storm had passed us then, Monday morning. I went, after I got the community, I headed to the police station, and they said, Mac, I can't remember the officer, but he said, we do not know what happened. We hear that there's been deaths, but we do not know what happened. Still, there was like 1.5 feet of water in the police station. That's when I checked on Selina and where our her house was, where the police station is. And who came to look for me was Peter Campbell, and he had a truck. Because my car couldn't move. I had town car that I had from 1999. And we couldn't move. Cars were, off the record at that time. But Peter Campbell had a truck. And we said, how in the world? I said, do you have, because I had lost all contact. I said, do you have the governor's any communication with him? Said, no, far as he know, he's still up at the fire, up there where he went, the fire station. And you know how we got Georgetown? We went through the Dyke Roads. And the deck roads. I mean, good thing we had a truck because there were trees over here and trees there, and we also, when we got just up above where Commander Bay is, we met a Toyota car loaded with 4 or 5 Irishmen. Royal Gallagher was one of them. Every one of them was weeping. Every one of them was weeping and said, Mark, we're going to stick by you. We're going to get through this. He said, you haven't seen it. You got to go on that next side, which I hadn't seen. 7 Mile Beach area. Said, it's like a war zone. Everything is mashed up.
Like a bomb it off, they said.
Yes, they said. And they said, I remember Ryle, this big man weeping. He said, Mark, we gonna get at this right away. And I continued, and we finally got to where we could get to the governor. When I got up to the governor, got into the place and saw the situation they had there. I mean, they kept things clear, but water was all over. Got to the governor, and when he pulled me right in the back of the top floor was a space where he was in the back, no windows or anything, and he busted crying. Didn't really. I felt for the man, and I said, Governor, there's no time to cry. There's time for work. And I said, I just want you to, and by that time it was after 12 o'clock, after 1. By the time we got up,
this is Monday.
This is Monday. It took about 2 hours to get through that swamp, or more. And I think it was George or Kirkland, one or two of them said, Mac, I have a message, or OC, because OC was in the thick of things.
He was a cab sec then,
He was a cab sec at the time. And he was in the thick of things and moving and getting things done. And it could have been him, but one or three of them said, there's a group of people meeting at Walker's and they're calling for you as leader of government to come down. They want to meet with you. Fine. I said, okay, I'll be there. And they said, meet with us at 4 o'clock. Well, we got through some things talking with the governor, and at that point, the governor said, you know, Mr. Bush, you go ahead and do what you have to do. I had to remind him, I said, you should have told me that a couple of days ago. Anyway, 4 o'clock came, and we went there, and there was a group of foreigners. It wasn't any Caymanians. The man from Walker's, and who since left there and formed his own company. I can't remember his name.
Was it? No, it was the Appleby then, right? It wasn't Walker's, right?
Appleby, I think. And what his name was, he sort of headed it up. And we stayed there and we talked about what we had to do. The first thing was, and I knew that was part of my personal plan as a leader of government, was to get Georgetown back up and running, to get the business back, because I know business people had gone off, business had gone off, and I didn't want that to stay, because if that had lasted any length of while, we would have lost the business. And so that was the first thing I said. I think somebody from CUC there. I mean, most of the particular institutions were there. And so, but before we could leave there at 7, the governor showed up. And it wasn't anything. We had mostly finished what we had planned, but next morning we were supposed to meet back there. By the time we got back there next morning, he said, I am in charge. I have declared a state of emergency, which he did, and I am in charge. I said, you can declare any state of emergency you want. You better be in an emergency, because McKeown Bush is in one too. But I'm here to make sure that my country is done right, and not going to be by what you all want, Governor. And he said, well, I'm in charge. But by that time, we could get a cabinet together, and we agreed we were going to change the law. And we met to change the law and make us in charge of, we couldn't, because constitutionally, when he declared it, he was in charge, but he couldn't do anything about that law, and he agreed on that. And so we changed the law. Linford was still Speaker at the time, and we became in charge of our ministries.
Right.
Ministries.
If you would, maybe, I think we got a news break to take, but when we come back on it, I remember when the LA was to meet, because that's what it was called then, and we were down there having a chat, and people were, I'll use the words you guide me that I'm not too diplomatic.
Mhm.
A lot of the parliamentarians were milling about to try to figure out, well, what does this mean for us as elected members?
Yeah,
and
because we didn't have a way of contact. We called them, we got them in and said, there's an emergency meeting.
Right. And with the state of emergency now being imposed, a lot of the responsibilities and the duties that would have normally and
been was the governor was taken.
Right. And many of the parliamentarians thought or did not quite understand then the shift in that power. So we can talk about that, and then with that change in the law that you talk about before, well, let's clarify that. What law was it that you were referring to? You wanted to change the law?
I can't remember the law.
Fair
Okay,
enough.
but it was a law that gave us some authority over our ministries.
Right. All right. Are we taking a news break now, my friend? And then, Mr. Bush, this is not just a story. This is not just a recap. This is a sobering reminder of the importance of us being us when it's time to be us. I'll explain to you if you don't get that. Call your camera, your friend, he'll tell you. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
We are Radio Cayman.
Covering Cayman Right, Little Cayman, and Grand Cayman.
1 in a million. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Health Services Authority is aware that one of its visiting practitioners has been arrested. The individual has been placed on leave until further notice. HSA says they are unable to provide further details at this time while investigations are ongoing. In international news, dozens of people have been arrested after clashing with police at an anti-war demonstration in Melbourne. Police said they were appalled by the actions of some demonstrators targeting a military hardware sales show in Australia's second-largest city, accusing them of pelting officers with rocks, manure, and bottles filled with acid. By contrast, protesters said officers were heavy-handed and responded with flashbang grenades and irritant sprays to control the hostile crowd. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese condemned the violence, saying Australians had a right to protest but had to do so in a peaceful manner. Self-medicating gorillas may hold clues to future drug discovery, according to scientists. Researchers in Gabon studied tropical plants eaten by wild gorillas and used also by local human healers, identifying 4 with medicinal effects. Laboratory studies revealed the plants were high in antioxidants and antimicrobials. One showed promise in fighting superbugs. Great apes are known to self-medicate by selecting plants with healing properties. A wounded orangutan recently made headlines for using a plant paste to heal an injury. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
When it comes to weekly meal prep, I trust Kirk Market to provide the best value for quality proteins. The butchers at Kirk Market are super helpful. They always slice my steaks perfectly. Kirk Market has everything I need for healthy and flavorful protein-packed meals. From lean cuts of CAB choice beef, tender CAB prime beef, the juiciest pork, and all-natural hormone-free poultry, to their seafood section with everything from fresh local snapper to omega-3 rich salmon. I choose Kirk Market for the highest quality proteins to support my healthy lifestyle. Kirk Market. Eat well, live well, and discover a world of choice.
The DVDL Customer Support Unit is now open. Customers can book appointments for written and driving tests through DVDL's hotline at 945-8344. That's 945-8344.
Refer a friend and get $50 to spend when your friend or family member opens a personal account with Cayman National. From July 9th to September 30th, 2024, C&B customers can earn $50 for each referral who opens an individual or joint personal account. Earn up to $500 with a maximum of 10 referrals. Visit CaymanNational.com for more details on this promotion and follow us on social media for updates. Terms and conditions apply.
You deserve a unique vacation this year, one with easy non-stop flights from Cayman. Cayman Airways offers more non-stop flights to and from the Cayman Islands than any other airline. Now you can add Panama and Los Angeles to your travel bucket list. Skip the hassle of connecting flights. Panama is just a 2-hour non-stop flight from Cayman. And Los Angeles? Get there in less than 5 hours non-stop aboard Cayman Airways. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Los Angeles or Panama getaway today.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Freedom, Cayman Brack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Hey, welcome and thank you so much for joining us. And although the phone lines are open, if you want to call and share, that's fine. But if you just want to do as I am, and just listen and learn. And
if somebody want to call and ask a question or comment, then that's okay with me.
Mr. Bush, sorry, go ahead.
One of the things, because I mentioned some people, right, like Alan and Mr. Garfield Ebanks, who were contractors, people, and I want to give credit to people like Tommy Ebanks, your cousin too.
The whole against him, okay?
Who was then with Public Works and came and said to me, Mac, I'm here. Tommy is a I call him multi-purpose person. He asked him all kinds of things. Tommy can do it, right? And then he was at the Public Works, and he came to put his effort that first Monday and stayed to work. He stayed up there with me. He didn't go down to the meeting at 4:00 at Applebee's, and then he took me through at the end of that meeting when I went back up there to the governor that afternoon. He took me to the West Bay Road to see the damage to hotels, condos, and apartments. But I want to remind people that one of the first flights came from Jamaica, a plane loaded with stuff, right? I think that was through Dr. Joe and a bunch of them. Then there was Suresh Prasad from the Britannia project. Then there was Mike Ryan. And the one thing that I remember was Mr. Hines, who was the mayor of the Bay Islands. And I had helped him when they had got a trouble before. Mr. Hines, he has a boat yard and some boats, and he had lost his son, I think 15 days before he came up. But he came up, George Hunter, whose wife is, Vanja, is from there, from Roatan. And they got him, but I had known him because I said we had helped before. And he brought a boatload of wood and everything that was distributed for Hondurans and other people, and 5,000 tanks of water. I took one in West Bay, and I sent one to Bordentown area, and that was the two. But then there are dozens of. We don't have the time here to name the many Cayman, but just think of the togetherness that we had there. I remember Adrian. Adrian opened up his whole business, fed people for days and weeks. Adrian Briggs, right? The many Caymanians who put things aside and work, and you know that same Dinwiddie sent the police down to Adrian's after people could go there and bathe, get food, and get ice. Dinwiddie came and stopped that.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he sent the police there and wanted to arrest Dr. Joe, and came in and said to me, I said, well, carry me where you want to carry me, but these people here are doing nothing, but Mr. Briggs has his place open. People don't know some of the rascality that man called Dinwiddie that he did, because I'm sure with him put the bad word against, where I will come to in a couple minutes, about the Foreign Office. Dinwiddie done nothing for us but they bust out crying when I went up to them in the morning and tell me, oh, what we gonna do? We gonna work. That's what we known to be. We gonna take care of each other. Just you don't get in my way, Governor. But he got in the way. Plenty too. Anyway, I just want to thank so many people. I mean, the people up on this up here, a little ways up the road there, that stays
I happy, but give me some. Where?
What are they again? They go out and they help people.
You want me to take the call?
Feed themselves. You got a call? Go ahead.
All right.
I'm trying to remember. I want to mention them because they did a lot.
Well, while you jog your memory, let's take this call. Maybe that spark a thought.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for sharing. Yes, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Excellent, man. Thanks for listening and sharing.
Mike.
Hello.
That's age, That's age.
That's what it is?
Oh, hold on. You recognize the voice now?
Yeah.
Jeez.
In fact, I just picked up what I was just saying that I didn't say that how many people in the East End. But Arden, it's a fact that the Red Cross, I don't know about East End, but they help other areas too.
Well, let me explain to you now.
Yeah, and you don't have. Well, you could go ahead because you probably can tell it better than me. But I remember Miss Oli and the volunteers in East End who really kept East End, because at one time you were blocked off, and I could only get up there by walking.
And listen, I was disappointed with the compass, and with that picture in there about the devastation of that one, with saying that Red Cross workers, I don't recall Red Cross workers coming. You know that we did that there by ourselves. This is old.
Arden, I have always given you tremendous credit for the work that you did in East End at that time. Because if it were not for somebody of your mindset, and you could go and get Miss Oli to do what she did and give the amount of money that she did, you know the mess that East End would have been in. And I always gave you credit, although you beat me over the head every time you go on to do so. But I always give you credit, Arden, for the work at that time, and any publications now, right? And this is going on a lot, and I see it, and I take objection, because it's even changing names of things that people put down. West Bay Golden Age School, your Golden Age Home, they're changing time that it was talk all the time when I went through the battle to put it there, and they don't have no name, no dates or nothing on it, just a name on it, not even the Golden Age Home on it. And I take objection to that, Arden. I take it deeply, and people like me and you will, and there are others who will call us fools for it, but I take objection. I know how much work you've done, Arden. Make I tell anybody that. Me and your ma, who you know I talk to practically on a weekly basis, always talk about how much you put in. Alan Ebanks was another one, who's a cousin of mine, but lives in East End and worked with you. How much you put in, I know Darrell Rankin and them. I know how much you all done up in that district for a time, because I couldn't get up there the first days. And I know you cussed me about it, but I couldn't get there because I wasn't going in a damn helicopter. I went and then I had to walk across and walk up and saw some of it. I couldn't walk all the ways and saw some of it. But what you have done, yeah, if there's any honors to be given, you should be given some kind of recognition for it.
Well, you know, Mac, I really not looking for that, and I ain't calling. But I haven't called it about that.
I know that. I know you.
I'm not worried about that.
I know you call it rather to cuss me than take credit for yourself. I know that.
I don't need anything on myself. I don't need anything on myself.
That's what I say about it. I don't need a road name after McKeever Bush. You can believe that.
That's right. What I was concerned about, in that picture, there is Darrell in that container. Then there's Alan Ebanks and Jiva Richards, who was Powell, Nee Powell. Listen to me. When they will say that Red Cross workers, those are Red Cross workers.
There was no Red Cross workers. That was your community work that done all of that. Red Cross fed people, yes, I know they did. And I can't figure the days afterwards, but I know they did some work, okay? But that wasn't them. That picture, that was Darrell, like the people you named, that was them. They was East Tenners. They were East Tenners that done that work.
So, Mr. Arden, you got the floor, sir.
Yeah, what it does, it kills the volunteerism. It kills the spirit of community.
I hope not.
When they don't recognize people who do hard work. 5 o'clock in the morning, them mornings, and people will notice. I used to have to come, George, to pick up eggs in my car, go to the hospital, pick up insulin, medication for old people, stuff. Before I was on the road, people like Darrell and Alan, all them were up in that yard. That yard at the Civic Center was filled with 40-foot containers of Mrs. Oldie's money.
That's right.
Listen to me. She spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars on food from Progressive. And we fed the people of East End straight into January. It took me. I left my house the morning after the storm, McKeever, at 6 o'clock with my child. And it took me to 11:30 to get it done. I had to commandeer a piece of equipment to make road to get it done. Listen, they need to give credit where it's due.
Compass not gonna do it. Compass not gonna do it. Hear what I tell you? They're too willing to. They could give you a little credit and put some credit in one pocket and take it in the next. That's how they operate. I'm sorry, but I know how they operate with me. That's how it is.
And the many other people, the flowers, the backers.
Burner and Alti. Burner and Alti is another one, Mr. Dave Foster. I will ever give that man credit. Ever give him credit for what the things that he did to help take us through time. Him and Captain Charles and them. The organization make something. You are so right about the many people. But I pray that it don't be. I don't like I said. I witnessed some of it in this last hurricane because of the state of economy for people. But I hope that the attitude of being giving and a volunteer don't die completely. And because we got so many Caymanians who put things aside, who politics aside, and work, man, you didn't do all that all the time, they didn't, Arden, but anyway.
Let's hear from Mr. McLean.
You always me up, McKeever. Every time get you. But
the two of you.
But look at McKeever, look at Mrs. Oldie. Yeah, we have given her recognition.
That's
that
right.
Woman spent millions.
Millions, Arden, millions.
How many million? You hear what I tell you? Because it's big number. It's big number, okay?
I haven't, I would have liked to hear, but I know it wasn't. I mean, I know the millions. The first going off or whatever the first figure was, but look at all the food, all the things like you saying now that people don't know about though. You see that woman gave. I know.
I can tell you it double numbers in the millions, so you can figure it out from that. The first set of double numbers in millions. Those are the people. I saw it as a job, McCabe. I really saw it as a job. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I could help people. But the people who put their time in, I was a publicly elected official. I was required to do it. The people who put their time in, and you know what? Let me get off this. Let's say, thank God, we have been blessed. We have been blessed. But I just want, and all those out there who assisted us, I want to say thank you 20 years later, even if I didn't say it before.
In my book, I don't know all the names, but I knew Ms. Olde, and I knew you. I knew Alan, I knew Darrell, I knew Oswald and Delmira, and the different people that put, there's the names that I could call, right? I put that in my book, but it's not written, my book is not published yet.
Well, I hope that the records reflect the majority of the people who supported. I mean, when the morning after I went to Susan Oldie's house, and I said, Susan, now is it? And she sent me to Progressive. McKeown, I had 5 40-foot containers. The first, by the next day, the food, That's the kind of contribution that woman has made to this country. We rebuilt every house, then, people, every one of them that was totally destroyed.
Oh, yes. Remember that? East End was the first district that took the lick,
That's right. Right. You know what else she did? At her own peril, she bought 200 generators in Florida. And you remember the hurricane had just hit. They wouldn't allow them to come out.
Yes.
Lawyers to bring them out so they could get to East End,
Yep.
To fight the U.S. government to out generators out.
You had a benefactor in Mrs. And this country had, not just you, because you was a MP and you were the machine behind getting her to do things. I know that. But this country, and I had to say that if we had to put into East End, that would be much less for other areas, what a woman did. Yeah.
Mr. McLean?
But, I'm just thankful that we all contributed. But the press needs to protect their information before they put it out there, because it takes away from the people in the communities and the volunteerism, and it doesn't hurt me too, but not like it does them.
Arden, like I tell you, I don't sit down anymore in this country to depend on the press for anything. I have a Facebook, and I do a little bit of printing on somebody else's, but I know I will never get, because I will never get credit for the things that I know what we went through and what we had to do. Not just for Hurricane Ivan, but for other areas. They're not going to do it. I've never depended on them to get elected, for certain. No, sir. If they could speak bad about me, they did it.
Anyway, do all that some stage.
All right, we'll talk soon.
Well,
in the fullness of time,
Yes.
Lord, I hope we get a chance to chat, because I think, you may not appreciate how many of us have personal and respect, not just your resolve, but, as Mr. Bush just shared, a man of your mindset. So maybe our mutual friends will connect us and we can have a good conversation. But take care.
All right, you too.
All right. Mr. Bush, as I listen to the two of you exchange, the public don't appreciate the healthy respect they have for each other, but the importance.
We do.
You can see it. I mean,
they all be misled at time. I gotta go court and prove them wrong, and that's one of the things that seems to be my lot in life.
Yeah. Mr. Bush, if I might ask through you, I mean, share as you wished, as you were earlier doing, but trying to be both respectful of the remaining, minutes in our program, but also the importance of what today is. I think there are a couple of things that immediately should jump to the fore. We've all alluded to it, we've all experienced it, but we're all now commenting that it's somehow either been misstated or perhaps being misplaced. That sense of community and the immediacy that we had in the aftermath, but also in the preparation lead up to this hurricane. But there's an official sort of approach to things, and then there is an accepted part where our people immediately draw together, help each other to ensure that we're safe before, for its preparation, during, as we experience it, but the after. And you talked about the things that transpired after that you saw. Share with us some of that, because you alluded to some of the things then, but expound on it.
Well, I was stuck in government. And as I said, thank God. They talked about the status, and they cussed me for giving status, and me like I had been the only one that did it. But many of those people, contributed to an upswing in the economy. That Fridays when you used to go to the bank, hardly anybody was in there. And afterwards, right, loads of people, the economy got better. I remember Mr. Fahad is another one, the Arab, that we did give him status because he did so much, right, to help Cayman. He brought in a plane. I think two came. One was through Dr. Joe and them, and another one came through Jamaica. Cause remember, what happened that people don't know is that my and the government's representative in Washington, Livingston, he immediately went, Michael, I had no communications, right? Foreign press was trying to get hold of me all the time, talking about people did and Cayman did, and I said Cayman not did, and we not allowing anybody right now until we get things settled, because they wanted to come in. And yes, I stopped them. And that wasn't about getting any good done for us. They wanted to report whatever bad that was here. And I said, no, until we're ready, then you will come, but not right now. And that was the very first couple of days. Michael Adberger got hold to, he had one of those sat phones, they call them, I think. Anyway, we got hold to Livingston. And right away, he went to the State Department. But by the time he could get to the State Department, the Foreign Office had got stated, you leave the Cayman Islands to us. You give whatever help you can to Jamaica and give whatever help you can to Grenada. But you leave Jamaica. That's what the Foreign Office did. And people ask me why I feel the way I do. I can come back and tell you what else. And so we didn't get any help through that avenue. That was the first days. As time went on, and people like Ms. Holde and Fahad and Mike Ryan and them, as much as people do not think, and other people who had gained status, helped this community and helped people. Tons of food, containers of different things came in. The cruise ship people, right? By that time, we had a group who was really in opposition to us, in control of supposedly disaster preparedness. But they were political, no two ways about that. But still they were helping people. I said, you let them go. Let them do what they got to do. But they stopped a shipload. I think it was for a container load from the cruise ships. Take them up to the airport where they was commandeering. They were in charge up there. And I don't forget it. And then there was they stopped also one of Fahad's shipments. Because they said, he was leader of government, busy in carrying West Bay. Carry what to West Bay? Everybody was getting their fair share. That's what I knew, because the rest of them guys, Frank and all of them, everybody knew what was going on. How could we ever commandeer anything to go anywhere? That was some of the licks that I had to take as leader Adeline and Pinlin told me you in the front to be shot first. So I expected all of that, but still we moved forward and got things done for those people. That's what I remember. But as things moved on, Jennifer Dilbert was and Dinwiddie was no help. Was no help at all. Stood in our way, every way he could stand in our way, he stood. And Jennifer Dilbert was the government representative in London, and she got hold of me and said, listen, I have, through the director of the Foreign Office, inviting you all to come to London. But you have to get an assessment done of all the areas, education, schools, of all the damage. We came up with about $3 billion of damage. Cabinet agreed that we should go. We took each minister gave all their information for their different areas, but came out about $3 billion of damage. Myself, because Linford came out of the cabinet by then and went to be speaker. And so Julie came into the cabinet. And so myself, Julie as deputy, and the financial secretary, Mr. Ken Jefferson, went to London. And when we got there, we met with a blithering fool called Bill Rammel. He was the minister, Labour minister. And he said, as we got there, well, we had an appointment with him. And he came into the room and he said, well, he gave one thing which we dismissed quickly, which I was shocked at, but we dismissed that. But the next thing he came in, he said, hey, you all are not Montserrat. You are very rich. I said, what are you talking about? Yeah, we came and don't need anything. You all are very rich. You got all this money down there. I said, oh, yeah? I said, I come and tell you, we not come to beg you. I said, we were invited here, just in case you don't know. We were invited here and to ask us to bring a list of what we thought at this point were our damages. And you got about $3 billion of damage here. But we not come to beg you. All I'm begging you, the bunch of you up here, is not to get in our way on our recovery. Let us do our recovery. I said, you already done damage because you already told the United States not to do anything for us. And so he kind of went back down off his high horse, and we started talking about how we could get further explanation and a proper damage report done. I can't remember. ECLAC did that report, and we agreed that they would do it. And that's the one thing that all I got. I'm not gonna none of them, but on that trip for the three of us, government didn't pay for us. Fahad paid for us to go and paid for us to stay in the hotel. Okay, although we were invited by them to come, because I wasn't planning to go into London, whatever I had to do, but they invited us and said, come on. The least I expected them to was full cooperation. But what we got out of them, one cruise ship come down here with soldiers who drank up our water and gave us for 50 horse blankets and 150 water tablets. That's what we got out of them. And they asked me why I feel the way, Gene Owen or anybody else. I hope they're listening. That's why I got it, feel hard for them. And they got it in for me because I stood up against them so often. And they will do anything to damage me, and they have been doing that. Setting me up in court and everything else they have been doing. But that's why. Because I have stood up to them and say, not on my watch. This is McKeever Bush. You can say anything, you can call me anything. But when it comes to the Cayman Islands, I am here to protect them. That's my duty. They didn't do one thing to help us, but they never did. $200 and something thousand in 1968 to build 3 high schools, three primary schools, $200 something thousand. We have never been granted from them. And so you ask me why I feel that we can manage ourselves. The Cayman Islands, if we stick together, we can manage ourselves. we can do what is necessary to protect, but we have to stick together. Doing that's not what is happening. This last reorganization about voting and one man, one vote. Yeah, you got that all right. Yeah, one man, because each minister is for themselves, and they might do a little bit in somebody else, but it's all about what they're doing for themselves. That's for the whole thing. Not what I'm saying themselves.
Yeah.
They try to do in their district. I'm not talking about personal now. It's not nothing personal. I'm talking about that, okay? But my area, where I am not a minister, no.
Yeah, Mr. Bush, if I may ask, and I'm mindful of the time, but I think many times we.
If I'm hurt, yes, I mean, I got to tell you, I'm hurt to my soul.
Yeah. And this is where I think we can. You're saying a lot, and your primary, as I understand, and I think that you're underscoring, is unity. If I might ask through you, you talked about in the passage of Hurricane Ivan, the country was together, but each district wasn't politically divided as it is now.
No.
And you reference Ivan and the ability to harness the resources, the personnel within the district, versus a couple of days ago that we went through this little weather, where that seemed, from what you shared, to present a challenge in getting people to work together. Because
but let's put it. Let's say that Caymanians are still Caymanians.
Yeah.
Caymanians are still Caymanians.
Yeah.
And I think it is just that people are having it hard.
Yeah.
And I do not believe that we are doing, and I say we, I am part of a caucus, but I do not have, I'm just one vote there. And I think that there's much more that needs to be done in various areas to help our people. And I do not believe that people are so disregard of where we come from.
Right.
Those that know, because there's the young people do not know. I'm sorry, they do not know where we come from, right? And they're still learning. But I think like what I experience is because people they can't pay water bills, they can't pay phone bills, and let's say phone is not a necessity, water and electricity is, and groceries are, and mortgage is, right? These are things, and people are hurting.
Right.
So that's why I think I came across these things.
So if we, as we wrap up, if we look as what you were sharing, the experience in terms of unity and ability and willingness to come together in Ivan versus the storm we had the other day, where seemingly there was a greater recognition of the divisions that we had, political otherwise. Given that we have this one person, one vote, now seeing the benefit of what you shared 20 years ago when we didn't, and today that we do, what can we do? Can we change that, go back to something that creates more unity?
I do believe this. There are several areas that needs to be changed in the Constitution.
Okay.
Parliamentary secretary, which I'm for 2 ministries. Okay.
Right.
I work with, supposed to work with Honorable Eugene Seymour, and Honorable J. Ebanks gives me tremendous respect and work to do. And you'll hear more about that later. But I do not believe that the Constitution speaks clearly enough. As PALSEC is what the rest of the region calls us, because parliamentary secretary, and you say the PS, you know what that was before. That was the chief officer.
Today,
so we mix up. But in the rest of the region, the position is called PALSEC. And so there's a difference. And I think more effort and more thought needs to be put into that. And yes, there are other areas. We need to take this power that the UK has from the governor, that they can go institute laws and regulations where they deem it okay. It's not okay for us. Too much things are going on that is not okay with us, and it's too much connection between governor and too much connection between other institutions that are set up to protect people but are destroying people in this country, and we need to do something about it. Whether they do it or not, I don't know. I do not plan to head any institution up. You asked earlier that I intend to run, and there has been a lot of encouragement from the community for me to get back on the bandwagon and say, yes, I will be your representative again if you re-elect me.
Well, we're closing that because the last time you, by your request, you came on and you had publicly said, hey, I'm not going to be. This time now you're saying you will.
Yes,
Okay.
if enough people, and I think there is enough call, because it has been rolled out to me in these last 3 years, and nobody knows what I've gone through. Nobody knows how sick I've been, what has happened to me because of the persecution, the lies, and the deliberate moves that has been made by institutions of governance who's supposed to be for good governance, honest integrity. In none of them, into none of them. And if I'm going to sue, oh yes, I will.
All right.
Oh yes, I will. But I want to see more than that. This is not mean, and I've never been about Mikhail Bush. You don't see my name on any road or anything. I don't want that. I would like to see it kept on the Golden Age home and the port and different institutions that are put in place. Yeah, keep it there because then people know it's history. But not, I don't want anything else. I want good for this country, and that is not happening now. We are in a jeopardy, and we need to stand up and get good people on board to be able to do something. As far as Ivan is concerned, I want to thank people like Dr. Joe, Mr. Fahad, Mr. Hines in the Bay Islands, Mr. Suresh, Mr. Mike Ryan, the Flowers Group, Alti and Berna, and the many Caymanians, Mr. Bernard who's gone, Bernard Watler, the many Caymanians who not just assisted by giving something, but people like Mr. Harvey and Ms. Gladys that could give advice, right? After the storm, Mac, you don't do that, go this way, right? And people that ran Cayman Airways and all government, because they were civil servants who worked tremendously hard. The civil servants all over in all sectors that worked tremendously hard to take us out of what we was. Let us get back to that. I beg everyone, let us get back to that. That's all.
All right. Hey, to our listeners, thank you so much for sharing with us. And as we invite you to be a part of a continued program, join us tomorrow for more talk today. Have a very safe and blessed, respectful and reflective.
I will listen. I will say this much. I will listen, and if there is contradiction to what I'm saying, I would like to hear it.
All right. Well, there you go. Yeah, he's put the gauntlet down and he says he's running again. So let's see what happens when it comes to election time. Have a blessed afternoon.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Cayman Airways, call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Doctors Hospital, peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.